Sunrise. Meanwhile, that same evening, after the Sabbath had ended, Mary Magdalene, Salome, and Mary the mother of James went out to purchase burial spices to anoint the body of Jesus. As dawn broke the next day, an earth tremor shook the area, as an angel as bright as light itself came from heaven and rolled away the stone from the entrance to the tomb. Utterly terrified, the guards fell to the ground as though they were dead. Shortly after this, the womenfolk, including Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and some others, came to the garden carrying the spices they had prepared. They were astonished to see the tomb was open, for they had been discussing, as they approached, how they were going to remove the stone. They hesitantly approached the tomb, and looked inside and saw two angels, who said to them, "Don't be frightened. We know you have come to anoint Jesus, but he isn't here any more. There is no need to look for the living in the place of the dead. He is restored to life, just as he promised. Remember his words, for the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners to be crucified, and then rise again on the third day. Look, this is where he was laid. Now hurry and tell the other disciples that Jesus will meet them in Galilee." Terrified, yet filled with a strange and powerful joy, the women immediately ran to tell the disciples what they had seen and heard. The guards, meanwhile, awoke and hurried to the chief priests to explain what had happened to them. The chief priests decided that these miraculous events should be kept secret, and bribed the soldiers to say that while they were asleep, the followers of Jesus had come and stolen the body. They reassured them that if they did this, they would not be punished for sleeping on duty. So the soldiers took the money and did as they were told, which is why this story still circulates to this day. When the women got back to the disciples, they told them what they had seen. Mary Magdalene said to Peter and John, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and now we don't know where they've put him." The disciples couldn't believe what the women were telling them, so Peter and John ran together as fast as they could back to the tomb. John arrived first, but then waited for Peter to catch up. When Peter got there, he immediately entered the tomb and saw the linen strips in which Jesus had been wrapped lying on the stone bench, and the cloth that had been placed over his face neatly folded at the side. John stood behind him, and although they believed what they were seeing, their minds couldn't fully take in the fact that Jesus had indeed risen from the dead, just as the Scriptures had prophesied. The two apostles ran back to the others, whilst Mary Magdalene, who had followed them, remained alone in tears outside the tomb. She bent down to peer into it once again, and saw the two angels still sitting there, one at the head and one at the feet of the place where Jesus had lain. "Why are you crying?" they asked her. "Because they have taken my Lord's body, and I don't know where they've put him," she replied, and turning to leave the tomb, found a man standing directly in front of her. "Woman," he said, "why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" Mary thought he was one of the gardeners, and said, "If you have taken him, please tell me where you have put him, so I can go to him." "Mary," said Jesus softly, and in that split second she recognized who he was. "Teacher!" she cried, and fell into his arms, holding on to him with all her strength. "Enough," said Jesus. "You do not need to hold me so tightly. Go and tell the others that you have seen, touched, and spoken to me. Say to them that I am shortly to return to my Father, who is also your Father, to my God, who is also your God." So Mary ran to the others as quickly as she could with her news, saying, "I have seen him. I have seen the Lord." And she told them all that he had said. They caught that bright new morning, sun's splendour rising, and the first rays dawning of these latter days, where sin is overwhelmed by grace, and death itself has lost its place until that final day. There in the garden weeping tears of bitter mourning, and love's songs yearning for the Master's gaze. His voice breaks through the veil of tears, and grace replaces darkest fears to sing his highest praise.